Okay. So I wanted to talk about this. We're gonna watch a short clip from a video by the name of Mileage Mike. He put a video out called Nine Reasons Why Texas is Different than the Rest of the South. I'm in Dallas, Texas. I've been down here since I was about 13, 14, and I'm 36 now. So, and the crazy part is, I used to always say I had a love and hate relationship with Dallas. And through the years, the hate part is dying down, and the love part is going higher. You know, certain things like no state tax and things like this, along with the diversity when it comes to the Latino community. La gente habla español y yo aprender mucho en ese tiempo que yo trabajo con ellos. So I have picked up that. That's something I can add to my resume. And I never went to school, like even in school. When I was in school, I was considered special education. I did not take regular classes. It was people with helmets on in my classroom. I'm not ashamed of that because if anybody listens to me for not even an extended amount of time, you can tell that there's no learning disabled with me. But I was just lazy in school, and that's where they put me. I was in a good school district, and in good school districts, what they do is put more minorities. They label minorities as special education to make their numbers look better because when you're in special education in Texas, you don't have to take exit tests when it comes to the tax testing to graduate. I didn't have to take that because I was classified as special ed. So that's a whole other topic, and that's some bullshit, but that's a whole other topic. We're gonna get into this, man. This video is called Nine Reasons Why Texas is Different from the Rest of the South. And we're gonna just go into the demographics of Texas with this. So yeah, salute to Mileage Mike.
The next reason Texas is different is due to its demographics. In most of the South, the demographics are, for the most part, black and white Americans with a splash of others here and there. The Carolinas, Virginia, Tennessee, the Deep South, especially, are all quite similar with this breakdown. But when it comes to Texas, things look quite different. In Texas, no one group makes up a majority of the population at 51% or higher. But the thing of note is that the largest group is those of Hispanic descent. At just over 40%, they have overtaken non Hispanic whites as the largest demographic in the state. In third place is Black Americans at around 13%, followed by Asians at 6%. Texas also contains the only large metro in the United States that has a population that is majority Hispanic, as San Antonio is the 24th largest in the country, and Hispanic Americans are 54.3% of the population. You can see this influence all over the state, as it's not uncommon to hear Spanish being spoken at any given time in any given
Facts.
place. This
That's
can
how I
also be
learned.
somewhat regional as well, as the areas close to the Mexican border tend to have higher Hispanic populations. The Rio Grande Valley and El Paso areas are of particular note in that the Hispanic populations in these areas can reach 80 to 90%, while over in Houston, things are split mostly evenly between the three groups. And the Dallas Fort Worth area is slightly different with a 42-16-29% split among those groups. This map of the counties gives you a good idea of the demographic distribution across the state, with Hispanics dominating the southern and southwestern parts of the state, and non Hispanic whites making up the rest. In most other southern states, aside from Florida, the demographic makeup is usually around 60% white, 20 to 30% black, and 10% or less Hispanic. And those demographics play a role in the next reason Texas is different, and that is some of the food. First is the
We're not gonna talk. We're not going into barbecue. One thing about it, it's funny how he did that. He got the red. You see, Texas is red, and Texas will. I feel like Texas will forever be red. When we talk about political, we talking about that Bible Belt. We talking about certain things politically that will never change for this area. They have this area zoned out politically so well that when it comes to the cities, when it comes to the districts, when it comes to the counties, this state will never be a blue state. There will never be uh like Texas is not never gonna be like California over the other way. It's never gonna be like that. You're never gonna be able to walk in the dispensary and buy 3 grams of good marijuana. It's just not gonna be like that. So, but I don't even smoke no way at this point in my life. So I don't even care about that. But that's just another thing. Uh, but when it comes down to the diversity of going into jobs and having the ability to interact with you know, Mexicans. I say Mexicans because that's what we're talking about. I don't like the term Hispanic. I don't like the term Latino. I know that's what gets used. They use it. But I like to say who I'm talking about, which is mostly Hispanics. Actually, I was when it comes to how I got to be able to speak Spanish about 60%, it's because of the building I work. I do maintenance, and you know, I interact with the housekeepers in the building. I interact, you know, the guy who I did my apprenticeship for, you know, learning about maintenance and different trades. He was ESOL, which is in, second language, English as a second language, some kind of terminology they use. They say ESOL, but so yeah, I learned, and I never went to school. I just learned Spanish from listening to them speak and watching them while they speak. You can learn a lot just through body language. If someone say voy para abajo and they point down, so every time you see them say that, uh voy para 13 piso, and they point up, you know, you get to learn, you just catch on to things strictly by listening. And a lot of people say they don't know how I did it, but and I'm not fluent in Spanish, but it's one of the, like, if I was still in Kansas City, I don't think I would know as much. I would know near as much Spanish as I do now, where I can basically talk to anybody in Spanish from almost any dialect. Because there's a lady, and that's the beauty about Spanish. It's just like English, where a person from Mexico and a person from Guatemala, as I know, a older lady who's my heart, you know, she's from Guatemala, and when she talks, I pick up a lot of stuff from her, from what she's teaching me when it comes to Spanish, just through conversation. And then when I repeat it to someone who's from Mexico, they correct me. They correct the way I'm talking. And when I tell them, they're like, "Oh, that's why." Because yeah, she's from Guatemala. Yeah, in Mexico, we say this. We don't say that. So I don't know. It's interesting. I've enjoyed my time in Texas, and I don't see myself leaving anytime soon. Um, but yeah, man, I really, I just been talking about music this whole time, in which I can do and which I love to do, but there's other things I like to talk about. So I'm gonna make these videos as well. This is YJ, and as always, I got one more thing I want to talk about before I get up out of here. One more thing I want to talk. Hold on.